welcome to Walk and Talk and our Sorgy Stories vlog. We're here in Baltimore at Stadium Place.
Yeah, you might be wondering why we're walking through pagodas and in this residential neighborhood with a whole bunch of senior housing. It's not because necessarily the housing itself,
No, not at all.
but what remains of part of one of the great stadiums of America. Notice these senior homes that are all right here. Pretend that these homes over here and then this parking lot space had 60,000 seats.
Wow, you can just imagine that bowl setting. If you ever watched the Rose Bowl, just how the bowl feels.
This place was louder than the Rose Bowl. Even though it sat only 60,000 people, Vince Lombardi once said this place sounded like an outdoor insane asylum because the fans were that crazy, they were that lit. They made this place so hard to play in, both for the Baltimore Orioles and for the Baltimore Colts.
Yes, and you know, I've been on baseball fields like this. It's interesting to see the turf and how compared to what it used to be, and with the grass and how they revamped it.
Not just grass. Bill Curry, who used to play with both the Packers and the Colts, once joked that the dirt that was here and the fact that the grass was not in top shape, shall we say, when it's football season in December, the whole field basically turned to dirt.
Oh, wow.
They joked it was Astro dirt, but it's our Astro dirt. We love it. It was such a home field advantage because it was such a bad setting. But just picture the football games that were played here. Johnny Unitas won 3 championships with the Colts in this stadium.
I'm wondering if second base is 100 yards.
I doubt it.
What do you think would be home plate?
They probably made sure that home plate was not an end zone spot because it was straight up to center field. The Baltimore Orioles won 3 World Series in the stadium. 66, 1970, and 1983. They won that 3rd World Series the year after one of our Milwaukee Brewers' greatest victories. In fact, we're going to walk up to a spot that was kind of important there. We are standing now, bud, right about where right center field used to be, in the right center field wall of Memorial Stadium, as they would hit from south to north. October 3rd, 1982.
Yeah.
The Milwaukee Brewers and Baltimore Orioles that season had the 2 best records in baseball, but they were in the same division, the American League East.
Okay.
Only one could make the playoffs.
Yeah. Back then, there's no wild card, so it was 2 teams from each league.
It just so happened the last series of the year was the Brewers against the Orioles at this very spot.
Yep.
The Brewers had a 3-game lead going into the 4-game series. The Orioles took the first 3. Game 162 would decide a champion. In this spot, Robin Yount, the American League MVP that year, hit the first of 2 home runs to give the Brewers a 10-2 win in Game 162, and they would eventually make their only World Series so far. Keywords, so far. Where you're standing is right about where Cal Ripken began his career in Baltimore as a shortstop.
Yeah, throwing first, second, third.
One of the best shortstops in the history of baseball. But also, this was the spot where so often Johnny Unitas would drop back and throw absolute dimes to receivers like Raymond Berry, Lenny Moore.
Yes.
A Hall of Fame-laden Colts team that won 3 championships in 1958, 1959, and 1970. You'll notice there was a decade in there where they didn't win anything.
Yeah.
What decade was that?
That's Lombardi.
The Green Bay Packers, Vince Lombardi coaching the Packers in 8 of the 10 years of the 1960s. They won 5 titles in 7 years, shutting the Colts out of winning championships.
Man.
And there were 2 legendary games on this very particular field that especially stand out. You see that goalpost way down there?
Yup.
December 19th, 1965, the Packers trailed the Colts by a half game in the Western Conference back then. Why Baltimore was in the West, I don't know, but they were.
That's weird.
Of course. But they played a game to decide, I mean, basically for first place in the conference.
Yeah.
Paul Hornung caught a pass from Bart Starr, and you couldn't even see the goalposts with how deep the fog was in this place. And he took it to the house. One of his 5 touchdowns that day to give the Packers
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
a 42-27 win and the lead in the division. And then they eventually would go on to win the 65 title.
Yeah.
1 year later, right about in this patch of dirt,
Fake dirt.
real dirt back then,
Yeah.
Packers were up 14-10 in a late December game. Johnny Unitas doing what he did better than anybody. Drive his team down the field in the final 2 minutes. He invented the 2-minute drill.
Yeah, essentially.
And was one of the few times that he failed. Because Willie Davis, chasing Unitas, came up, just want you to stand and turn around. Imagine you're Unitas, you're running the football. You carry it with your right hand. He came up and slapped it right out of his arm in what was called the $1 million fumble. Fellow Hall of Famer Dave Robinson recovered. Packers clinch the West
Man.
and go on to win Super Bowl I.
How?
All this happened right here.
I love just how chill the city is. It feels a lot like Milwaukee, but especially in this area, there's not that much hustle and bustle. It's just very kind of chill, right down by the water. Different than the east side, because, you know, the east side is on a slope and you have to go down.
East side of Milwaukee, you're saying?
But it's just so similar and also a lot more chill than Philly.
Milwaukee and Baltimore have so many similarities. Our hometown is about this size of city, maybe a little smaller, but it's right on the water. Water has made so much of what this place means. It's a harbor city. It's more relaxed, but just big enough. A lot of similarities both with the great parts about the city, the problems. We drove through a pretty tough neighborhood on the north side of Baltimore between the Memorial Stadium site and here in the harbor, but so much good as well. Worth coming to. I know it's warm outside, but I'm definitely looking at this chili, and that's because the kid wanted to go for the pretzel bigger than his head. We're gonna have to split this thing easily with the cheese sauce. Yes.
Good stuff.
The pretzel and the cornbread with
man.
the chili.
Yeah, the cornbread, I haven't had that good of cornbread in a long time, and then you got that pretzel with the cheese sauce. Oh, amazing.
And the cool part about where we are now is we're just a block or two from an amazing historic tall ship, and we can listen to African music in this awesome square. Trying to figure out if this is the Dutch flag.
It says Amsterdam right there.
That's true.
And that's what the flag looks like. Light blue is Luxembourg. Royal blue is Netherlands. And it can turn a little white when it's been here. The flag's just sitting here. But yeah, so we're at about the tip of the harbor.
Here, what's called Fells Point.
Yes. And you get under there, over there. You get, I think that's how you get to the ocean. I think.
Halfway to get to Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah. And then you got ships, restaurants, apartments, factories. Awesome.
This is so cool. We just had a fantastic conversation with a couple of New York transplants to Baltimore. I think they really just gave a good picture of what the vibe here is in Baltimore.
Nice city and nice people. We were talking about travel, baseball stadiums. So just as you off camera said, it's like the people here like Milwaukee just on the East Coast with a little bit of an accent.